going to show you how I turn Christmas gift wrapping from a chore into something that I look forward to every single year. I'm also going to share with you fun, easy, and inexpensive ways that you can turn any Christmas gift into a work of art. My name is Bethany, and this is Joyful Habits. So the first thing that I did was start collecting a bunch of items that I thought I might use to wrap my gifts. This included various ribbon, embroidery thread, some tags, cinnamon sticks. You'll see orange slices that I dried, although I did accidentally leave them in the oven way too long, so I kind of burnt them. That is why they are so dark, but I still think they look nice, so we're just gonna roll with it. So I grabbed some various greenery to use. I first grabbed some herbs such as thyme and rosemary, and then I also went outside and picked a few little pine branches. And this year on Amazon I found a pack of these Christmas themed wax seals. As always, I'll have links in the description box if you're interested in anything. And they're like stickers, so you can peel the back off and stick them to something, although I did try that with one and it wasn't very sticky, so I decided to use hot glue to attach them. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I truly enjoy wrapping Christmas gifts. In fact, I not only enjoy it, I've really come to look forward to it. I've found a way over the years to turn Christmas gift wrapping into a fun Christmas activity, and not only that, but time for me. I know a lot of people dread wrapping gifts and see it as a chore, and it can definitely be tedious and time-consuming, especially if you're rushing to wrap everything Christmas Eve night and you just want to go to bed. So the first thing I do to mitigate some of that stress is to do my best to plan ahead. One of the ways I do this is by starting my Christmas shopping early. I decide early on what my budget is and who I will and will not be purchasing gifts for, and then how many gifts per person. I keep a running list on my phone throughout the year, and as I come up with ideas, maybe as I'm talking to people they mention something they like, or I might notice something they need or could use, or sometimes I just have an idea randomly for no reason, and as soon as I do, I jot it down on that list. Then whenever a birthday or Christmas rolls around, all I have to do is go to that list and I have plenty of ideas. Now, obviously, I don't have every single person of my acquaintance on this list. This is, a list with people like my immediate family and people that I know I will be buying or making gifts for, every birthday and holiday. But I will say having that list really takes a lot of stress off the Christmas shopping or gift making experience, because instead of scrambling to find something, for everybody on Christmas, I can just go to that list and choose from all the ideas that I've come up with. And there are a few people on that list that I have so many ideas for now that I'm set for the next 4 or 5 Christmases. The second part of my planning is to plan to wrap my Christmas gifts somewhat early. And by early, I just mean not 2 a.m. Christmas Eve night. Sometimes I wrap gifts early December, mid-December. This year I was wrapping things about a week before Christmas. The date doesn't really matter as long as I'm not rushed with this impending deadline and feeling of doom as the time rushes by and you only have 2 more hours before the sun is up kind of deal. And then the third thing I do is sort of set the scene. I always wrap in the evening when the house is quiet. I find evenings to be calmer and more cozy, and I know my day is done and I don't have to be rushing out the door in an hour or leaving for work, or I have an appointment later on in the day. The day is done and now I can settle in and relax. I usually sprawl out on the living room floor. I turn off the overhead lights and turn on soft lighting, for example, small table lamps. And I really like this because not only does it make everything feel more cozy and relaxed, but it also allows me to enjoy the twinkling Christmas tree lights or a Christmas candle or the fireplace. And it's really cozy. Then I either put on some relaxing Christmas music, or what I usually do is put on my favorite Christmas movie. You know the one. It's that movie that you watch every year, the first movie you think of when you're thinking of Christmas movies, the one you've watched a million times, the one that brings you comfort and makes you smile and feel all the Christmas nostalgia. That's the movie you want to put on. I'll make myself a cup of hot chocolate as well, or some warm tea, and usually a snack, usually all three of those things. I gather all my supplies, paper, tape, ribbon, embellishments, markers, pens, tags, whatever you might need. Oh, and I like to wear a cozy Christmas sweater or some cozy PJs. Just something that is comfortable and warm and cozy. And then I begin wrapping gifts, and instead of being a chore, it's become relaxing me time where I can slow down and enjoy wrapping the gifts, enjoy adding little special touches and decorating them and being creative. I can appreciate more the items I've bought or the items I've made for people. And I can, sip my hot drink slowly and nibble on my snack and enjoy the Christmas movie and the soft lights on the Christmas tree and the crackling fire, and just breathe and just smile and just think about the Christmas season, enjoy some alone time and some quiet, and it's just really enjoyable. And I started doing that quite a few years ago now, so it's, something I've been doing for a while, and I really look forward to it. So today I'm obviously not on the living room floor. Instead, I'm bringing it to the table and turning on my bright lights and camera so I can share some of the fun gift wrapping ideas with you this year. Every year I wrap my gifts a little different. Some years are more extravagant, others more simple, different color themes or ribbons or embellishments. Of course, you know what I'm going to say next. The possibilities are endless, and I'm sure I've said that phrase at least 800 times throughout all my videos at this point, but I can't help it because it really is true. The possibilities are endless. And today, as you're watching me wrap these gifts, I hope you'll feel inspired and find your own creativity coming to life. And of course, I also hope that you won't feel any pressure. Your gifts don't have to be, masterpieces or pieces of art. This is just something I really enjoy doing, but there have definitely been years where my gifts didn't look like this for one reason or another and were just simply wrapped. Or some years I wrap one gift really pretty for each person and then the rest are just normally wrapped. The point is, do what makes you happy. If the idea of making your gifts pretty and decorated just stresses you out, then don't worry about it. That's not what Christmas is about anyway. I am really excited to show you this idea. We're going to be using the herb star anise, and yeah, I'm just really excited for this. We're going to be making a wreath. So for the base of this wreath, if you have thicker wire, I would recommend that. You can also use some twisty ties that you've got lying around and just, twist them together into a circle. You can use paper clips if you've got some metal paper clips lying around and make that a circle. Or what I did here is I just ripped off one of the tops to the ribbon spools and then I just cut it thinner into my wreath shape. We're going to be using that. And then I kind of started fitting them together like puzzle pieces until there weren't a lot of gaps and everything looked really nice. And then once I felt like I'd kind of figured out how I wanted it to look, I pulled out my hot glue gun and just started gluing them to the piece of cardboard. Really like how this turned out. This was really fun. I thought about adding like a red ribbon, but I thought the white or like the cream colored ribbon was just really nice. So made a little ribbon and glued that to the wreath. So next, just got to figure out how we're going to use this. I knew that I wanted to keep that white cream ribbon theme, so I played around with a couple of different looks. I tried just the typical, ribbon in the middle, then I tried one ribbon across. I did like that, and having the wreath be kind of the centerpiece. And I almost settled for that. I almost settled for just the ribbon across the top and then the wreath hanging from there. But the more I played around with it, the more I felt like I could do something more. I mean, I love it just the way it was like that, but I felt like if I just play around with it for a little bit longer, I bet I can come up with something even better. So I cut a little piece of embroidery thread and looped that through the wreath and then tied it to the ribbon. So that's how I'm attaching the wreath to the package. And then I started playing around with just adding more to the package. So I added an additional ribbon. I liked that. Thought about putting a little white bow where the two ribbons intersected, but then having the bow on the wreath and then having the bow on the gift seemed like a bit much. So then I thought, well, I really like those wax seals, so I'll add one of those. And I took my white paint marker to color in the snowflake on the gold seal. And I'm like, okay, that looks really nice. I like that. And then I started playing around with having some additional ribbons kind of hanging down from the seal. Yeah, this is what I eventually came up with, and I really like it. For this next one, I just had this small box that I had to wrap, and I thought it would be fun to use some of that fabric. You'll notice that I doubled up the fabric, and that way, no matter which side of the fabric was showing, you would see the nice pattern and not the underside of the fabric. This isn't perfect because I obviously didn't take time to sew it together or anything like that, but I think it looks okay. I really didn't know what I was doing here, so I was kind of just winging it, but I still think it looks cute, and I almost left it like this, just like a little bag with the ribbon, but then I decided to go back and try folding the top down to see how that would look, and I thought that looked okay too. So up until now, I've been doing a lot of red and green theme, but I decided now to start using some blue. I'm just using some bright blue embroidery thread here to tie around the package. I decided to use this other blue ribbon that I have, which is a little bit more vibrant and dark and shiny. And then I decided to grab my white paint marker and decorate the gift a little bit more. And I started drawing various shapes and sizes of snowflakes and then a bunch of dots. This next gift is going to be a snowy blue theme as well. I had some leftover sheer satin ribbon, I'm not really sure what to call it, from a Christmas gift like 2 years ago, and luckily I had just enough to cover this package, so I did that, and then I pulled out that deeper blue ribbon again and wrapped that around the package. But this time, instead of doing a bow, I grabbed another one of those golden wax seals. I used the white paint marker to color in the snowflake, and then I put that in the center, and I really liked how this one turned out. And again, because I'm kind of on a snowflake kick here, I decided to draw more snowflakes on this one as well. With this little package, I once again did that layering thing with the sheer ribbon and then, ribbon over top, except this time I used the embroidery thread. I had cut out this little felt circle and drew a snowflake on it and thought it might be kind of cute as a little tag. I played around with that a little bit, but I decided to not use that and just kept it simple with a bow in the middle. And then instead of drawing snowflakes on this one, I thought I would just put a bunch of little dots. So for this next one, I'm once again going to draw on the paper, but instead of going for the snowflake theme, this time I had the idea to draw a gingerbread theme to make the package look like a gingerbread house. This might be my favorite one so far, and I think I'm going to definitely make more of these. This was really fun and really simple. So after I'd finished drawing the gingerbread house, I was trying to figure out how to finish it up, and I thought about putting like a big bow on top or, you know, a couple other things, but I decided to just keep it really simple. So I had a little bit of that white ribbon left over and I made a bow, and instead of putting it on top, I put it right in the front of the gingerbread house. And then I decided to attach the tag to the top of the package with one of those wax seals. And again, I colored that in with the white marker so the snowflake would stand out. And then just to add a little bit of color, I added 2 pieces of rosemary under the tag. Really love how this turned out, and I think it'd be really fun if you made this your theme, and so every single package was a gingerbread house, and then you kind of set up this little village under your tree. So that might be something I try in the future. So now back to the classic colors. This next package is just classic red. I had this really pretty red velvety ribbon, and so I just tied a big bow, wrapped it around the package, and I kept it at that. I didn't really do anything else. I did kind of play around with maybe using the orange slices or a few other things, but I really just liked how it looked. I thought the simplicity was really nice, and it didn't really need anything else. And for this next package, I kept it pretty simple as well. I just wrapped around some of that red ribbon, added a little tag, and this time I also tucked in a little piece of pine branch that I had gotten from outside. You'll notice I went with a traditional red theme for a bunch of them, and then I went for that blue, snowy theme for the others. Oh, and the gingerbread theme, which the white ribbon I thought fit nicely with the snowy blue theme. I had a lot of fun decorating all of these. I'm going to wrap the rest of the gifts off camera though, so that way I can, sprawl out on the living room floor and watch my Christmas movie and all that stuff I explained to you in the beginning. But I want to thank you all for being here and all the support you have shown me throughout the year of 2023 because... Wait, is it 2023? Yes, okay. Sorry, I just had a moment and kind of forgot what year it was. Okay. I want to thank you all for being here and all the support you have shown me throughout the year of 2023 because every view, every like, every comment means so much to me, and especially the comments. I read every single one, and often I read it multiple times, and I'm always blown away by the genuine kindness that I find. The world can be a very mean place, and especially the internet world, so I am very thankful that we have this growing community here filled with such lovely, genuine souls. Have a very Merry Christmas, friends, and a Happy New Year. This has been Joyful Habits, where we daydream and add a touch of whimsy to the ordinary. I'll see you all very, very soon, and don't forget to smile. Bye, friends.